Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Ella from MaltaNutrition and we are joined by
Janice Richard.
She is a track and field athlete and she's going to be telling us a bit about her and her lifestyle as a track and field athlete. How did you first get involved in track and field?
So first I started out playing basketball, and my coaches always told me that I was quite fast, but I never really took any notice of them because I really liked the team aspect. Then my friend, she really wanted to try athletics, and you know how girls are, like if one goes, hey, yeah, come with me. So I went and we met my coach, who is my coach to this day. And I never really looked back. I fell in love with the sport. It taught me a lot, and it turns out I prefer it to a team sport because I feel like the work that I do, I'm doing it for myself, and it's reflected in the results. So that's kind of how I started out in the sport, and that was 15 years ago.
What events do you specialize in?
I recently switched events, actually. I started out with the 400 meters, and I did that for a good amount of time. But this year, we actually started training for the 800. Ooh. So yes, indeed. Training has literally just doubled in volume, obviously, because it's a longer distance now. I love the 400. It still has obviously a very special place in my heart, but I felt like at this stage in my career, it was time to move on to a new challenge as well, a new distance. So now we'll see what the 800 will bring.
How do you balance your training, competitions and personal life?
It's very difficult. I mean, for example, I'm still a student as well, and I'm going to start working. So you have work, you have training, you need to keep up with your friends, with your family, and it's very challenging. But like I said, I've been doing this for quite some time. So
you've gotten used to it.
You get used to it. It becomes part of your lifestyle, and you even get certain skills such as time management and discipline. Like you need to be really, really disciplined. It's not easy, and it's not for the faint-hearted either, because you need to make a lot of sacrifices, and you need to say no to a lot of events, just because you have training the next morning or because you're competing, so you can't go out, you can't stay up late. So it's just till you find that balance between everything, but you need to prioritize even what you do outside of the track. So if you need time for yourself, you really need to prioritize that, and you need to take it as well. So it's just finding that balance. It's not easy, but it's not impossible.
And what do you study?
I'm in my final year to become a psychologist.
Oh really? How nice. What does a typical day in the life look like for you on training days?
At the moment, it's quite hectic, and it starts quite early. So alarm at 5 a.m. and I try to be at training, usually the gym, or if I have a long run at 5:30, and that would be my first session of the day. Then I usually either go to university or for placement, depending on what I have scheduled that day. And then I have training again at 6 p.m, usually track. So I'm here from 6 till 8 with my team. And that's where we usually have the big bulk of the training. So volume, lots of repetitions, lots of running. And then basically I go back home, make sure that I recover properly. So good nutrition, rest, and get ready to do it all again the next day.
Milavera, eat, sleep, train, repeat.
Literally.
Are there any other sports you were first interested in before track and field?
I used to play basketball, like I said. I've always been really, really fascinated by gymnastics. So I'm the least flexible person on the planet, Nahsa. But even just watching the Olympics, I always make sure that I watch the gymnastics because their skills are just incredible. There's so much power and grace at the same time.
Yes,
it's just amazing. I'm always in awe.
I'm a gymnast and I aspire to be a track and field athlete.
Look at us.
We show up for a day.
Yes,
we'll do a video.
Please.
What role does nutrition and recovery play in your performance?
It's extremely important. I mean, when it comes to recovery, for sure, but even on race day, what you eat prior to performing is extremely important. For example, if I know that I have a heavy load of training, I need to make sure that I have fueled my body properly before that training to be able to perform and to be able to finish, knowing that the training can get quite intense, because I don't want to get depleted. Making sure that I have enough carbs, electrolytes as well, and even during training it's important that I'm fueling myself properly, so staying hydrated. And for example, on competition days, to try and aid my performance, I take pre-workout, but like I said, it's what you do before that counts really, so making sure that you are doing everything you can so that you can have an optimal performance.
How do you handle the pressure of competing at a high level?
It takes time and it takes experience. I mean, I've been doing this for a while now and I still get really nervous, so I can only imagine people who are just starting out and like starting to get onto the big stage and the nerves and anxiety that they must feel before. Something that I like tell myself before, for example, competitions, is that I worked hard, the work is done, and now all that's left is to show the work that I've done basically. So on the start line, that's kind of what I tell myself, and it's worked till now. I'm not saying that I don't get nervous, and I feel like nerves are a good thing because it shows that, you know, the passion is there and you just have to be ready to fight really.
Can you share an instance where you had to overcome nerves before a big race?
Not just one really. I think I'm most nervous when I feel a bit kind of unprepared. So when I say unprepared, I don't mean I didn't train. For example, if I'm coming back from an injury tends to really knock your confidence a bit, and especially the first race coming back after an injury, you're kind of like, there's all these questions like, am I going to get hurt again? What level am I at? Am I going to do like a really bad time now? So I think that's when I usually feel the most nervous, when there's a big stint of me not competing for whatever reason and I'm about to come back. So basically at the start of every season, because if we come back from off season, I'm usually a nervous wreck before. But then once you kind of dust off the cobwebs, you're back in and you're ready to go.
Which is your favorite event and why?
To watch or to do?
To do.
To do. I think my favorite event is the 200 meters, really. I love the feeling I get just coming out of the curve. I'm not particularly good at it, but you know, it feels good.
It feels good.
Yes. I think it's definitely my favorite event.
And to watch?
To watch, I love a good relay.
Yeah,
it's really exciting. Like the fact that you don't know if the changeovers are going to be clean, is anyone going to get disqualified? Definitely not to do, because it's so stressful. Oh
Really?
my god, oh my. Yes, because if you mess up, you're not just messing up for yourself. There are another 3 people who are on the same team, so you need to make sure that you're on it. And for example, with the 4x1, the margin of error is so small. So you can't leave too late, you can't leave too early, you have to be absolutely precise. So it's very stressful, but it's lovely to watch.
Yeah, love it to watch.
Yeah.
What do you focus on in training to improve your performances?
I think in training, something that even I'm still working on is that I can't take each rep as like a competition. So I can't be performing my best times time and time again during training. So I really try to take each run at a time, especially for example, if I have a ridiculous session with a crazy amount of runs, just take one at a time, make sure that technically I'm running well. I focus a lot on technique during training, because if you focus on it during training, it will come automatically during competition. That's basically it, taking one at a time and making sure that I manage to finish the session and just feel good about it really, even if I'm dying on the floor.
That must happen a lot on the track.
Oh, all the time. All the time.
What motivates you to push through when feeling fatigued?
I think during training, we're fatigued most of the time, right? Like especially after a really hard session, or even during a really hard session. Kind of what I keep in mind is that all that work that I'm putting in is going to amount to something. It's going towards a good performance over the summer. So yes, for example, even this year we had a really grueling winter, but what kept us going is that yes, we're setting the foundation now. It's going to be tough, but come summer we're going to be ready to compete. So that's kind of what motivates me.
Do you do any mental rituals to calm down before a race or competition?
When I was younger and when I was first starting out, I used to kind of try to distract myself as much as possible, and pretend as though I'm not even racing, and I try to get into like race mode when I'm at the track during warm-up. I try to keep it very last minute, but as I started to progress through my career, and I think even my training as a psychologist as well helped me, I try to come a bit early to the track, and I just kind of visualize myself executing the perfect race. So I make sure, for example, if I'm competing the 400 that day, I watch myself start strong out of the blocks, keep the pace, second 100, come straight out of the curve. So just watching myself go through all the phases, and that's really helps me, so that when I'm on the blocks and I'm ready to start, I feel more prepared.
What was your biggest achievement in track and field so far?
I think my biggest achievement was breaking the 400 meter national record. The first time I broke it was actually the race post-COVID. COVID was a really weird time for us because the track was closed, we couldn't train, we were training on the roads. It was really, really strange. So then our nationals was pushed back, and kind of after COVID and being away from the track for so long, we just focused on really enjoying it. Really, we didn't have any targets in mind. I definitely never dreamed of breaking the national record, but I managed during the national championships, and it wasn't an easy one to break because it was of Tanya Blake before, and she's an incredible athlete, ġifieri. So I think that was my biggest achievement in the sport. Really.
Well done, huh?
Thank you.
And post-COVID, it's kellek il-ħeġġa.
I think it's finding your love for the sport again after being away from it for so long, and
You were eager.
And I think it really fueled me to run my fastest time, really, without even thinking about it. I think not thinking about it and not prioritizing, oh, I need to break the record, and just doing it to do it and doing it to have fun. I think that's when the best performances happen.
If you weren't an athlete, what do you think you would be instead?
Oh my gosh. I mean, if you had to ask me like who I am, before I would tell you my name is Janet Richard, I'm an athlete. Like, it was kind of my entire identity, you know. If you had to ask me today, I would tell you, yes, I'm an athlete, but I'm also an aspiring psychologist. I'm also a partner. I'm also a sister. I'm a friend. So it's like, it's not the only aspect of my identity, really. And it's something that I really had to work to do, because being so wrapped around the identity of being an athlete became kind of unhealthy, and it's like you lose who you are. Let's say I was just an athlete, a full-time athlete. So I can't even imagine
You can't.
I can't even imagine not being in some kind of sport, or even
maybe
if it
imagine
wasn't
yourself in a different sport.
in a different sport. Oh my gosh. I mean, I love gymnastics. I can't imagine myself doing it, but I love it. But no, not being a sports person, I can't imagine it. No.
Who is your biggest inspiration in track and field or in life?
In track and field, if we had to talk internationally, I'm a big fan of Sydney McLaughlin. She's the world record holder in the 400 meter hurdles. I really look up to her because, yes, she's the world record holder and she's absolutely so talented and so incredible. But I also look up to her because of the way she kind of holds herself and kind of her composure. She's extremely humble. She's a woman of faith as well, so she kind of attributes everything to her faith. But there isn't that kind of cockiness. Like, there's a lot of humility and grace when she steps onto the track, and it's something that I try to emulate as well when I compete here. Locally, I remember coming up, I really looked up to Rebecca Camilleri, now she's Rebecca Guerrieri, and Diane Borch, now she's Diane Desira. I remember just watching them break all kinds of barriers, and I just thought to myself, I want to be exactly like them. Their careers are absolutely incredible, on the track and off the track. So definitely they were the ones who really inspired me to continue to push forward.
And to round it all up, the last question. What advice would you give to younger athletes aspiring to succeed or start in track and field?
for those wanting to start, definitely go ahead. It's an incredible sport, and contrary to what a lot of people think, it's not just running. There's a lot to athletics. There's jumping, there's throwing. It's so versatile, and no training session is the same. So it's definitely exciting, and I definitely encourage people to take on the sport. For those who are already in the sport and maybe are aspiring to reach higher levels within the sport, yes, take it seriously, but kind of don't lose your why along the way, because sometimes we're so blinded by the fact that I need to qualify for this, I need to beat this person, I need to run this time, that you kind of forget why you're doing it in the first place. And it's kind of what we're seeing a lot. We're seeing a lot of young athletes who are taking it too seriously too soon. And what I encourage people to do is just have fun. Even for the older athletes, sometimes we forget. We kind of need to tap into that younger athlete that we once were and kind of remember why we fell in love with the sport in the first place. So that's kind of my advice.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for
your
having me.
time. She has a competition tomorrow, so
Yes.
she gave us all her time, so we really appreciate it here at MaltaNutrition. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you again, Janet.
Thank you.
This was Janet and a bit about her and her lifestyle as a track and field athlete, and we'll see you guys in the next interview.
Bye.